it's really important to our brain to recognize faces and facial expressions and eye contact because the fusiform gyrus is so large. So that's how the neuroscientists are like, whoa, it's really important to our brains that we can read other people's faces. And this is where empathy comes in. Empathy, we are so wired to try and figure out other people's emotions, their intentions, and their thoughts. And the reason being, that's the only way we survive. If you're born into the world as a baby who needs 24/7 care, you are not going to get your needs met if you don't understand what the big people in your world are feeling and thinking and what their intentions are. It's a survival strategy. So it's pretty unbelievable. You were talking about on your psych evaluation form, it's pretty hard work to dismantle a child's natural, born with empathy. But we get people on our planet, we get way too many kids who get described as callous and empathic. And those are kids that behave in very aggressive bullying ways, just like the adults that showed them how to do it, that role modeled this kind of highly destructive behavior. And so I just feel like as a society, we've got this information. We can do so much better. Oh my goodness.
And to learn.
We can change our brains. That's the beauty of it. We really can. With practice and work, the way your brain looks on the inside can be radically changed by your behavior and your belief system.
And so the fusiform gyrus, if I'm saying that right, that reads the nonverbals, I can attest to that since the quarantine and everything, I've been forced to do telehealth or phone sessions rather than office visits. I'm trained as a specialist, as a therapist, psychotherapist, to read nonverbal behavior. And so there's been times where I'm just sitting there or on a phone session or like this, and they hide the camera, like Ed's doing right now, but whatever, they don't want to be seen or whatever. And I'll say something because normally the nonverbals will give me a heads up on how a client's feeling, right? And so thinking it's time to confront or, ask them a question like, well, picture this if it was me reversed, and kind of like make them, concrete thinking or, kind of really put them in a place to really analyze what they're doing. And then they start to cry and they're like, I know. And if I was face to face with them, I would have known not to, you know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to do counseling without the nonverbal. I know every neuroscience terminology, this is why people don't study it, is because all the terminology is so hard to pronounce. But the nonverbals are crucial. And that's going to take it away if we're all wearing masks and everything, trying to re-socialize and reintegrate into society. We're not going to know if someone's talking to us or smiling at us or frowning at us or anything like that. And, even people, you get your nails done, women and they have those masks on because of the acrylic, and you can't tell if they're joking, if they're laughing. Half the time you can't understand what they're saying because most of us read lips, even though we can hear, it takes away a lot of that communication, so I think even what you're talking about, a lot of that reintegration, we might misinterpret others later on. Oh, they don't want to be near me, or whatever, because of the COVID virus, or they're not smiling at me, or I don't know. Just, I think socially, we're going to have a lot of work to do to integrate and become friendly towards each other, even if we didn't mean to not be. I don't know, all of that. It's going to affect. And I'm curious to see how it affects the brain and what you come up with later on after that, because you're going to have a third book on, the bullied brain or the reintegrated brain after COVID. And I know we have 4 minutes left. I'm going to give you a heads up on that one too. But you know what I mean? Like, after going back into society from this pandemic, a lot of us, our normal social skills are going to be altered, and people won't know how to interpret that, to think that maybe it's them. People's self-esteem is going to be impacted, and confidence level impacted. And a lot of people are going to feel like nobody wants to be around them. Imagine the people that were like that, or social anxiety anyway, and then stuck at home and like loving this, and then go back after they're like almost basically enabled to stay at home and, almost reinforced their bad behavior, and then go back into what society is going to quickly go back to work. And a lot of people are starting to become agoraphobic by accident. But I'm interested to see what's going to happen. And we have only 3 minutes. Okay, Dr. Fraser?
I would love to end with a quote that speaks to this, because I think this is a huge opportunity to press reset. I think we have a chance. We have an invisible disease that we're dealing with, and it's a sharp reminder to us that psychological and psychiatric and mental health issues are invisible all too often. And this is a chance for us to change how we are as a society for the better. I really believe that. This is a quote that's from my book. It's from Jackie Plum, Kelly Bush, and Sonia Kursevich. They work in schools and they're social workers. And I read it again today as I was preparing for our talk, and I was just struck by how relevant it is to right now. So here's what they say. If 20 million people were infected by a virus that caused anxiety, impulsivity, aggression, sleep problems, depression, respiratory and heart problems, vulnerability to substance abuse, antisocial and criminal behavior, and school failure, we would consider it an urgent public issue, a health crisis. Yet in the United States alone, there are more than 20 million abused, neglected, and traumatized children vulnerable to these problems. Our society has yet to recognize this epidemic, let alone develop an immunization strategy. And that really sums up, that's in my book. And that's why I do the work that I do. And that's why you do the work that you do. And
I missed my bell. I'm going to get my bell. Ed, I want a bell. That's why you do the work you do. And you know what, you're really making a great impact. And you put it in a way that I can understand. And if I can, a lot of people can, the science and DNA things. A lot of times that scientists, they say stuff and it kind of just goes over our head. But you put it in a way that's so, with examples, that it really relates and it resonates, and it helps us understand exactly why we are the way we are. And not only that, it doesn't go over our head. Just thank you for what you do and for being on the show. And thank you, Ed, and for Ryan, that behind the scenes. I don't think anyone can see them. We have 30 seconds. So I want to say thank you so much, Dr. Fraser. I look forward to seeing your book and reading it. And when it comes out, come back, okay? And everyone, please tune in to Tiffany Warner on Facebook Live. We got JJ Fad coming on, and we'll be back with Moments of Clarity at 2 p.m. with JJ Fad from Supersonic. And so thanks, Ed. Thanks, Moments of Clarity team. Everyone, be kind to yourself and a stranger. You never know what they're going through. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Tiffany. Thank you, Ed.
You're so alive.
WTAN, Clearwater.
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dade City.
FM 102.3.
WZHR, Zephyr Hills.
FM 104.3.
Listen.